Welcome to BC Pro Cast Ep.8. It's great to see you. Today we have on the bots, Emma and Dakota. Dakota, play some. What in the stinking world was that? That's insane.
Gosh, dude.
Can you sit a little bit closer to me? I don't bite.
Bro, don't look at the camera.
Sorry, that was weird.
I'll just put this in the middle of
Back to what we were going at. Welcome to BC Procast. We're so excited to have you guys here. You guys are up here for the holidays.
Over here, down there, we don't
down
know.
Here, over,
yeah,
across the
Atlantic, dude.
Yeah.
Across the Atlantic.
We're
Indian.
here, and we were like, we had to get these people on because we think you guys have a great and interesting story. You have some new things coming into this world.
Yeah.
And you guys are pretty interesting people.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I don't know. I don't know. That's what. Yeah, I won't grab your
Would you rather hold the phone?
No, I'd rather.
Okay. Because I feel like I do a good job.
Does this feel comfortable if I do that?
Let's not do that.
How should I say I want to speak?
I'll just, when I'm talking, I'll bring it close to me. And when I'm not talking, I'll go to the middle. And then if you ever start talking, then I'll go like this.
Okay. So tell us something else. So tell us about your guys' selves.
You want me to go first?
Yes.
Yeah. So, my name is Dakota. You said the bot, so Dakota bot. And I'm from up north. I'm from New York area. Moved to Tennessee when I was a kid. Moved to Ohio for a good stint of time. And then me and my wife, who you'll get to know in this podcast.
Wow, he just dropped it right away.
And we moved back to Tennessee, but just a quick snippet. I love to coach. I coach high school boys basketball and baseball. I do real estate, commercial and residential. But most importantly, I'm a husband and soon to be something else. And also, I
love that part.
we are involved in our high school age youth ministry, and we do music, and God's been really good to us, so we just have a hand in everything, so we like to do things. But here is the pride and joy of my life.
Oh gosh.
And for the people that don't know, Emma used to be Yader in her check.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's still family, of course. This is my cousin Emma.
Duh. Yes. So Emma bought now. Married to Dakota bought. And yes, we will be parents soon.
What?
Well, technically, I guess we're already parents.
Yeah.
Just not like
Congratulations.
he's not here yet. It is a boy.
What kind of parents are we going to be?
The best.
We're gonna be boy parents.
Boy parents.
Let's go.
Yes.
Actually, real quick, if you don't mind me talking about your eyes, but do you guys have a funny story regarding the gender reveal that you guys want to be sharing?
So I'll start it. So we had a gender reveal, and we were like super excited. My broker and his wife put on this whole party for us, just like gifted it to us. They have like a magazine home, like it's magazine looking, and they got this huge 7-layer cake, and they put either pink or blue in the cake. And for those who are just meeting me, I'm colorblind. So on the way up in my mind, I'm like, make sure I tell Emma, give me a nudge if it's a boy. But I forgot. We were just so excited. And so she goes in, we start cutting it, and we didn't even get to finish cutting it. We're halfway through. We don't pull the knife out or anything. And she goes, starts bawling her eyes out. And then the whole time, if you look at the video, I'm just leaning in does that mean it's a boy? And then she's just like,
He's like,
and so it looks like I try to make it look like I was rejoicing with her, but really I'm like, is it a boy? Is it a boy? And so finally she said, yes, just like that. And then
exactly like that.
And then I was able to look at everyone and say, it's a boy, even though I feel like a couple other people saw what it was first. But yeah. So that's my my issues with my eyes.
That's hilarious. What was on your side of the story, or did he nail it?
He pretty much nailed it. We were cutting the cake, and I mean, I have amazing eyesight, unlike him. So we're cutting into it, and I saw the teeniest, tiniest bit of blue, and I was like, yes. So, immediately started crying. Waterworks. Pulled the knife out a little bit, and my mom saw it. She was behind us, and she was like, "Oh my word!" So then he said, "Does that mean it's a boy? Is it a boy?" I was like, "Yes." And then everybody went crazy.
Yeah.
Have you seen the videos?
Yeah. Is that where you guys were? I don't know if I can ask this question. Is that what you guys were hoping for?
Yes. We were like, so at first we're like, we want a boy. But then when we saw the heartbeat, like on the first ultrasound, and it was like 169, and then she said, it's a baby, it's alive, it's looking good. I was like,
amen.
At that point, I was just like, it really, like, it's real, and it doesn't matter now.
Whoa.
But then, the more we thought about it, I'm like, a boy would be pretty sweet for her. Just because we've talked about it, she really wants to be a boy mom first, have that older brother type thing over like the sister, but we were happy with whatever. But it was like a weight was lifted off of our shoulders. Once I found out, it was just like, now we can start planning, and yeah.
Yeah, and leading up to that point, like, you know how you just get so excited about some things, and you're just like, I cannot wait for this, or, well, leading up to the point before we found out what it was going to be, what the baby was going to be, it's like such an undescribable feeling of like nervousness, anxiousness, excitement all together. So it was an incredible, fun moment. Wow. Especially that everybody there, they could experience it with us, and so it was good.
I definitely would agree. I think that having a boy first, you also feel like you can mess around a little bit. Like if you don't get it right with a boy, you get like if you accidentally not drop him, but like gets
he's a little bit tougher.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you have the daughter that comes potentially in the future, or whatever. Then you have that older brother to take
protection.
Care and protect. Yeah.
Yes.
It's important.
I agree.
Are you the oldest of your family?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like glad. You're like, man, I know what an older brother means. So
yeah. I have two younger sisters, and so just a quick synopsis of my first 4 years of living. My mom was married before she ever like got into church or knew God or knew anything about God. She was married to my biological dad, who's in the military. We still have like a good relationship, but it was just one of those things. He was in the military. She found like church, and it didn't work out. So it's just me and my mom for the first 4 years. But as soon as my stepdad came in the picture, they had my sister Isabella right away. So I was like 4.5 whenever she came in the picture. But it was like I was super glad that I was the oldest, and like I just had a really lucky childhood. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no weird like stepson, stepdad. It was just dad, and then also like with my biological father, dad. So like it was never like that. But I'm super glad I got to experience being the older brother. Yeah, and I think I helped him be a little athletic. Just from like, I remember pelting wiffle balls, hitting Isabella like right in the middle of the forehead. Like I would have her pitch to me, but she couldn't throw far. She would be like from here to that camera, and I would be full on daddy hacking it, just trying to get it out. And so she got a little tough, but yeah. So
that's nice. I obviously we jumped up to what's happening currently. You know, baby boy, on the way. But why don't you tell us about like when you guys first met or first started hanging out, or got together, started dating? I know there's the infamous story at your wedding where I told the first time I met Dakota, and I was trying to impose my will, even though he's much taller than me. But you guys want to tell us some history about Emma and Dakota?
Of course. And just to let you know, everybody that we know back in Tennessee, they're like, So when is your funny cousin coming?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they think you're hilarious because
thank
of
you.
the speech.
They're like, "Where's that
You
funny
should
looking
link
cousin
that
coming?"
video
Yeah.
to this video.
Oh
That'd be
yeah,
hilarious.
right below. That would
Yeah.
be funny. That'd be funny.
It's worth the watch for sure.
Yeah,
It's like
definitely.
2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, but it's like a perfect.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so we met, I was actually like 14, he was like 18 at the time. That's when we first met.
But that you
at,
guys
like,
didn't start dating
GMC. No, but
Didn't
we were
start, yeah.
No, we didn't.
flirting a little
No,
bit.
no, he wasn't flirting. He wasn't.
Yeah,
flirting.
he was. Yeah, he was. Anyway, he complimented
Yeah.
he complimented my smile. So that was
Any
the
normal
flirting.
friends would
Yeah.
with anyone
Yeah.
would do that.
Wait. What's like a red flag? If a guy compliments you, what's like a red flag that you're like, Because a smile, I feel like is like one of the better ones. Like, you know that he's kind of sweet. What's like a red flag?
If you would have
Yeah.
came up and complimented, what would you be like?
I mean, compliments are always nice. So
Boom, that's so true.
I think when you're getting a compliment from somebody else, the ones that mean the most, not that any are necessarily like red flags, but the ones that mean the most are ones that come from non-superficial, like, hey, your hair looks good, or your outfit looks good.
Yeah.
But like, you have a very genuine personality. I love hanging out with you. The smile one is good too. Not his
That was a
best
great
work.
compliment. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I think one of the greatest ways to compliment is compliment the unexpected. Like, just look for something that, again, I think it's more delivery than substance when it comes to compliments. Like the way you say it and the timing you say it, I think is a very important thing, because they could hear it, but if they're not expecting it, it's kind of like this wasn't the time I expected you to compliment. But I think just doing something unexpected has always been good with us, and has kept it, like, especially like if you're dating for a while and you're thinking about marriage, or you're like trying to go to the next step. People think marriage like fixes issues; it multiplies it. So in your dating,
God, dude, I didn't know this is gonna be like this. Dude.
Okay, sorry, continue.
Whoa,
but in your dating, find the things that you don't mind to be multiplied when you're married. So like if it's a date, it's expound on that date, because like if you like going to bookstores, we talked about this the other day, like when you get married, I feel so bad for young married couples. It's like, well, we don't do anything anymore or whatever, because that's not a healthy, sorry, but it's not a healthy marriage, because like what we do the same things as when we were dating, but it's like multiplied. It's like we're with our best friend. We're with the person that knows more about us than anything. So I just think when you're dating, getting to that next step, find things that you want to multiply.
Wow,
I agree.
that was great.
How do I follow up on that?
I mean, what
You
you could,
inspired me though. You started.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude,
This
he's
guy.
great at compliments.
That's good. You guys can get back into the story.
Yeah,
You started with a compliment.
Oh, yes. Started off with a compliment, and we texted here and there. Well, when we met, we didn't know how old each other were.
Yes.
Obviously.
I was about to say that, and I got to turn.
Yes. So, Michaela, my older sister, is the same age as Dakota. I am the same age as Bella, his younger sister. So, yeah. So, they knew each other, same friend group. I always hung out with Michaela and her friend groups at like conferences and stuff. So that's kind of how we got connected. Got a cute little picture. So I have that little throwback. But from there, it was just kind of like, hey, we're friends, acquaintances. Tell each other happy birthday every year. That's just a little side. That's just a little side.
But besides that part, it
Yeah.
gets to the place of
Yeah, so then I graduated high school and he DM'd me. COVID year, 2020.
oh wow, yeah.
So y'all can do the math of how old I am. Anyway,
pushing her late 50s.
Yeah.
We don't let them know anything on this podcast.
Don't let them know anything. So then started talking again, met up at GMC that year. So
And what is GMC?
it's General Ministers Conference.
Okay.
And then for ALJC. So we met up in June, hung out, had a really cute little date at Cafe 4. He made me try calamari.
For the first time.
Is that
Good.
It's like squid,
octopus,
isn't it?
shrimp, something?
Yeah, it's like a fried like octopus.
You can take the rest.
And so
I know what that is.
So
yeah.
I didn't know how picky she was at the time. It was the first day, so I really wanted to test the waters and be like, would she try something that I feel like is kind of out there? And she did.
That's smart.
Wow,
We actually we just talked on our last podcast, or podcast two podcasts ago, about the perfect date. And I think throwing in there something to see if the person is like adventurous or try new things, that's smart.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. Dude, what? Who are we talking to right now? I've never heard this stuff before.
I did not expect
When
this.
we met, so COVID year, remember, so COVID year was going on. We had our general ministry conference, which was at our church, which is weird because you usually go convention centers, find a city that's low, in the middle. But because of the regulations, we had to do it at our church. So when we really got to hang out for the first time legally, no, but that was the first time we actually got to hang out. No, I thought. But no, that was the first time we got to hang out, and her dad was going to be there. Her family was all coming, sister, brother. And I've already met them through the past of like being able to play music when her dad was like part of the youth president. But it was cool because she was coming to my hometown, so I was very comfortable. I knew my surroundings. I knew what we can do.
And I was not. I was not very comfortable.
Yes. But I've been saying this for a while, and with the high school boys that I coach, they all think like they have the Riz. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they all think.
Riz. Put that in the chat.
So I had a question. We were on a bus ride, like an hour and a half bus ride, and this guy, God love his heart, but kid, he tries so hard. Like he tries so hard. And I'm like, bro, you don't have to try so hard. He's like, well, how do I like get in with the parents? And then I went back to the first time I met Nana and all you guys. And this term came to my mind, and I've literally lived by it, is, act ignorant to awkwardness. Like, act like it's ignorant. Like, ignorant to awkwardness.
What's going on here, bro? What are all these things? Write these down. Oh, my goodness.
So that's what I did when we first met at GMC. I shook hands with everyone, and I gave her the side hug, like the only one I gave a side hug to. And just to let her know, it's like, hey, I know you're here. I'm here. I know they're here, but I know you're here. But it was fun, and then from there it just she moved to Wisconsin, where some of her family lives, and
where's that? Where's Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
So we got
Is that
to
even a
date.
state?
Is that a
It's
state?
the capital.
Yeah, the capital of Canada. But it was we just started dating, fell in love, and then it was a quick trip to the marriage train.
I loved how you said we started dating and we fell in love.
I know.
That was very kind and
Well,
cute.
thank-
Some would say.
And
Jeez, dude, he's getting me.
Dude,
Put a ring on.
stop putting the Riz on. Like, calm down.
but it's been fun, and the thing I like to tell people too, it's like it's not always been easy. Like we've had to make decisions that was for us, and it's hard because in ministry you are always doing things for others, but if you're killing yourself, you're not really able to minister because you have nothing to give. So that's why our home and the decisions we made were to protect us and to grow us. That way we can actually give to others, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've had to make decisions. There's times that we had great money, times we had no money, times in between. But it's fun because I've learned, and I'm such I'd like to have more than what I'm paying out, obviously. I mean, that's the goal. But the term comes to my mind. You could always make more money, but you can't make more time. So like, especially around Christmas season, you're paying for gifts. You're thinking of like, I have to do this party, and you start getting stressed out. But at the end of the day, you're going to make more money. I mean, your job is not ending today. So,
dude, this guy's insane, bro.
What's your problem, man? Like, I was expecting to start tearing up on this podcast today.
Well, you guys got my juices rolling, and again, so we're family. Caden's pretty much family, and
bro,
it's just fun.
He just rizzed me. He just did it to me.
Stop.
So you said that you guys are in ministry. Yeah. What do you guys do?
So Emma and I, we just started teaching the high school class. So her and another girl teaches the high school girls. I take the middle school girls, sorry. And then I take the high school boys. And so there's like a rotation. So twice a month we go separate. So guys are separate, girls are separate. We hit on, just different topics. I have like exercises that I actually wanted to do today. It's like something we'll throw in. I've done this to her as well. I usually try things and see how she reacts, and then we'll then try it in class.
We definitely have to try it.
Okay, you want me to do it real quick?
Sure, let's
okay,
rock and roll.
It has to do with ministry. So I listed for the boys. I said house, and I said, tell me your perfect house. And we got to a point where it's 6,000 square feet, 5-bedroom, 4-car garage. I'm like, okay, now what do you want to fill in that garage? And they told me their top cars. Like what they realistically think they could get that would change their lives. And I said, okay, what kind of, paycheck do you think it will take to change your life forever? So they told me. And from there, I was like, all right, what 1 out of 3 things do you think if you guys did not struggle with as a culture, you guys would be perfect? Because in reality, there's 1 to 3 things that you would really want to change about your life or yourself that you think, oh, God can use me now if I get rid of this. Or my life, I wouldn't be held back if I could fix these 2 things. There's 1 to 3 things in everyone's life that they wish they could change that either becomes a crutch or an excuse why they're not successful. So I'm like, what are 1 to 3 things in our culture? So they said, marry the perfect girl, or if it was addiction or whatever. They listed those things. We put that there. I said, okay, I'm going to take care of all this for you guys. All right. But in 7 days time, you have to give me your life. It's over. You could have all this, but in 7 days, it's over. And I said, are you going to take this deal? Sign on the dotted line. And they're like, well, no. I said, see, the biggest thing for you guys is you don't have a thing issue. You have a perspective and awareness issue. And so what that does is show us that if we drive a car that has 200,000 miles, but we get to live past 7 days, we just have a perspective issue because we're not driving the Lambos or the Ferraris or
and ultimately your time is more valuable than materialistic items in your life that you can either drive or show off to Instagram or social media, but ultimately it's the time that means the most and the people you're spending it with. And yeah.
So those 2 words, awareness and perspective. If we could get that, because a lot of times when we pray, we're praying to a genie, not a God. We're praying for wishes to be happening. God, give me this job. God, give me this. Give me. And the whole time we're rubbing the genie bottle and trying to get God to wake up. God, I will do this if you do this. And the whole time, God's just I just want you to change your perspective and awareness, and you'll have joy. Because joy doesn't come with a paycheck. That's why suicide rates are super high with the wealthy. That's why in the Bible it says it's harder for a rich man to make it to heaven than a camel to go through the eye of a needle. So it's a perspective thing. And so for our ministry, our whole ministry is wrapped up in this, because a lot of people are like, well, what's your title? What's this? Well, what was Paul's title? We call him an apostle, but what did people call Paul in the Bible? He just did. Mm-hmm. And so for us, all we want to our lives to be is to show and to teach a relationship with Jesus Christ. Because a relationship will change your perspective and awareness, and no matter what is going on, you'll be able to overcome it. And that ultimately will help, these young girls and these young guys to be good employees. Because if you're not a good employee and you're a time thief, you're not going to win your coworkers to to church or to the higher calling of life. So that's like kind of our whole ministry wrapped up in one. And we do music, but we do that because we love it. It's not really like a burden, you know.
Wow. Wait, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So I loved what you said about the perspective. What do you say to a person that has an addiction?
Addiction?
Yeah.
So I actually just dealt with a kid on a team that with a nicotine addiction. And he came to me after the fact. He's like, I really don't want to do this anymore. You know, he's like, it's controlled my life. My parents know something's wrong. And by the way, if you ever have someone come up to you that says they have an issue that's either illegal or will get them in trouble in school, you have to push them to go to the parents because you can't keep secrets. As an adult, as a leader in a child's life, you got to make sure that the parents are aware, legal aspect. Anyway, but moving forward for the addiction, I do kind of what I just did with the whole perspective thing. And then also I say, you know, what are the things you're struggling with? So they'll put addiction. I said, okay, so what are you doing to take place of that? So if you have one issue, you have to have one thing that's going to substitute. So for this kid, we wrote out a chart, and each day he's thanking God for what he's already done. And he's also praying, say, God, can you help me conquer this? And at the end of the day, he's saying, God, thank you for helping me conquer this. And he's writing each day of what he needs from God, what he's doing for God, and what God did for him for that day. Because if you have a track of 80 days and you get that, the feeling doesn't leave. That want, when you get married, if you have an issue with lust, that doesn't leave. It multiplies. That goes both ways. When you get married, it multiplies. So if you don't have a grip on that, you need something that is like, okay, I'm 80 days in. Is it worth giving in all this work that I've done and all these prayers that I've prayed and all this investment into
I see.
So like if it is addiction, if it takes 2 minutes to smoke a cigarette, like 120 seconds, if you realistically just set a timer for 120 seconds, pray, read one scripture during that 120 seconds when you get that feeling, and that's your substitute, and you write it down and document it. I think that's the best way to keep yourself accountable.
Wow.
It's just that substitute, because everything wrong in the world is a devil's substitute for everything good that God has. You look at music.
Yeah.
Music was created in heaven. The devil fell, and that's why we have this music that moves us so much here on earth. You could go on and on about that sort of thing.
Wow. And then you do middle school girls? What has been like a big challenge that you've had to overcome?
So mostly just for the middle school girls, we've been doing like a Bible study kind of, and really just gauging their interest level and teaching that to them so that in return they can teach others. Because within the school that they go to, whether it's at Apostolic Christian Academy or whether it's at a public school, he's repping the ACA.
Love that.
So that they can in return teach that to other students and get a good foundation of what they're looking for. That's really mostly it. And then there'll be some questions like here and there just about.
She has some smart girls in her class too.
Oh my goodness, they're so smart. Sometimes I'm nervous they're gonna ask me a question, and I'm like,
they're like raising their hand. You're like looking past them.
Anybody else?
Anybody? You answered too
okay,
many.
no questions. Let's move on.
I've taught classes when I was doing student teaching, like in sports medicine. So it's involving like the bones and the anatomy and stuff, which I have a concept of, but not deep knowledge. And there'd be times I'd be going through and I would say something and I would talk about, like, for example, the neurotransmitter dopamine, but there's also one that's serotonin, and serotonin's like more like a deeper level of like happiness and like feeling good, where dopamine's like much quicker. And so I'm talking, I'm like, yeah, and like one of the neurotransmitters that like really affects your happiness and stuff is dopamine, and I keep on talking about dopamine, and one guy goes, actually it's serotonin, in front of the entire class, and I'm like, I'm like, oh, what do you mean by that? Not having any idea, but letting him talk. He's like, yeah, this, and that. I'm like, yeah, sure. So dopamine and serotonin. And I just kept going with it. I'm like, thanks for reminding me. Like,
and in those
idea.
moments, though, it's so cool to gain information from the students. Because sometimes when you're worried that you're not going to have the answers, they might. You literally have no idea. And even when they are asking you questions and challenging your thought process and, oh, maybe I do need to know that, you know? Yeah. Like, it challenges yourself to push forward and do new steps with your relationship with God and other aspects.
So why did you guys go into, like, kids ministry instead of, like, because you guys...
Like the youth age and
yeah.
Rather...
I'm telling you, these people are the most talented people you'll ever meet. Emma, powerhouse singer. Literally, Tasha Cobb's who? I don't even know. And then Dakota, he knows every instrument like the back of his hand. He'll just like pick something up and be like, oh, how do you do? No. Like he just is insane.
It's to the point where it's annoying.
Yeah.
But we love them.
And you hear like their hearts. Like this is the dynamic duo. So, and I say that. So why kids ministry
rather than music ministry or any leadership?
I think in this season that we're in, because Emma helps me coach. This year I'm filling in as the girls coach. They had a really down year, like really. But we're actually like 6 out of like 11 in the conference. So good job, girls. But they're playing better than the boys. So anyway, we're going to send them this link. Say, fast forward to minute 27. This is how I felt on my Christmas break. Anyway, but just with the whole coaching and stuff, we're with them so much, and we see their needs, we see their hearts. They're very good kids. Like, they're very good compared to, like, culture. And I know, like, at the academy, we put a higher standard, so sometimes you forget they're doing very well. But I think it was natural. It's just like we talk to them on a daily and weekly basis, and it was natural. We weren't like, okay, kids ministry, there's an opening. But there's a thing at our church that is a saying that the need is the call. So what does your local church, what does your local body need? And that's the call.
Wow.
And because a lot of people are like, well, I want to be a missionary. Absolutely, I believe you. But what calling are you not fulfilling at your own home church first? Wow. You can't skip processes to get there. So for us, the need was, who was my youth pastor growing up. He's now the youth president over the ALJC, the Assemblies of the Lord Jesus Christ. And so he stepped up into like a new role, and it created some gaps of time and of teachers and, just people that will invest into the youth group. And like my good friend Nolan, he and his wife are the Kids Quest pastors. And so like there's been kind of transitions of like who's going to step up and invest in like this age group. So it was just kind of organic, and there was just a need for it.
Yeah. I think with the youth age, high school age, and middle school even. Middle school is such a hard time for students. But those ages it's such an easy age to talk straight. It's like not really sugarcoating things anymore, kind of getting a feel for real life, not to the extent of like bills and, other responsibilities that come with hyphen age. But it's real. And we were there. We've went through high school. He's went through a private school, Apostolic Christian Academy, and then I went through public school, and I feel like we both can bring clarity to some situations that students are going through, that we've been through, and just helping guide them and being examples that maybe we needed or that we had, and just kind of continuing that generational like leadership for students.
Yeah.
That and that part of ministry inside a church, they say you want to look at the health of the church, you look at that age group, because that's what's coming up. And how you're saying filling those gaps of who's going to step up to the next part. So being part of that type of ministry and that demographic of ministry is amazing. And that it's so cool to see you guys is like on fire, because you guys did go through a time when you guys were first getting together of like, where are we going to set up our, our lives, foundation, our lives, and going back and forth and testing things out. So it's cool to see you guys be at a place where like you were, what's the word? You're happy. You're not like content. You're not just like comfortable, but like you're also getting expanded and tested, but also like being at a spot where it benefits yourself and the potential is great. So that's awesome.
So speaking on that, which is amazing, I think that a lot of people actually stunt because they're afraid to take that uncomfortable step into that future. Yeah. So what was like that transition period for you both to go into, okay, I'm single, I'm going to this church, I'm doing this specific thing, and then now you guys are one. Now what is it like? What was that transition like?
Well, one, we've never argued about where to set up Roots. I think that it was one of those things, we prayed, fasted, everything that the Bible tells you to do to subject your flesh, to open up, because the Bible says, no man knoweth the ways of God but by the Spirit. So you have to get your flesh out of the way for you to make correct spiritual choices. But how we kind of knew is that it was one of those things that for me, there's never been just an audible voice. How it is, it's like I'll see something and I'll just put it together. And then in your stomach, you just get that feeling of like, this makes sense. I'm going to go at it hard now. I don't hear God in audible voices. I know some people do, but for us, it was one of those things that it was really just a step out by faith, and it was really looking back. There was never a time when we were in the moment that we're like, okay, this is it. It was a step out in faith and looking backwards that we're like, that was, I think we stepped out in faith and in spirit, it made sense. So I think that's another thing sometimes is people are waiting for confirmation right now. But the whole time, I mean, you look at Moses, he had a burning bush, but it didn't tell him exactly how things were going to go down.
Right.
And like, it was only when after the Red Sea, they were able to look back and he's like, oh, it worked out. I did what I was supposed to, And that's how it was kind of for us. So, I mean, we went through things that we didn't think we would go through, but looking back, you're like, okay, that was it. So I think as a young person or even an older person that might have taken a step back in ministry, I think that is a plague that's happening in our culture. Is like, I'm just going to take a step back for a season. But they don't put a hard date of like, okay, but I'm coming back now. Yeah. That is killing them spiritually because they're waiting for something that might never come. And it's only when you step out that you could look back and be like, that was it. Mm-hmm. Wow. So just, I mean, at the worst comes to worst, you make a mistake in the United States, it's very easy to make it up. Yep. You get in credit card debt, you can make it up. You get in car debt, you know what I'm saying? So I just think kind of grip it and rip it style is like kind of like
yes.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And we both knew that whatever was going to come next, it was going to be uncomfortable and it was going to be hard. And going through that season of maybe personalities who weren't agreeing with us. Well, at the end of the day, it's me and Dakota and nobody else. Like, it's me and him and God, okay? Like, that's it. On God. Yeah, but one thing that I've always loved that Dakota says and has brought, maybe other people say it too, but the perspective of pressure is a privilege. And being in those moments where it's uncomfortable and there's pressure applied to your life, you're like, there's a lot riding on this. Like, I really don't want this to go wrong and things like that. But it's a privilege to be put in those positions. And because when you come out on top, you've learned so much and gained so much knowledge. Even, which I don't really think like failure is really a thing until you've quit, until you're done.
Mm-hmm.
You're like throwing in the towel, So, my first one. Just pressure is a privilege in our everyday lives. And when people trust us in those aspects of their children, taking care of their children and speaking into their children's lives, and it's a lot of pressure and responsibility, and we're honored to be a part of that, for sure.
Yeah, one thing I love about you guys and what you guys are kind of explaining is that you guys are best friends, you guys do life together, but you individually have different accomplishments and things you guys are achieving and working towards. And it's cool to kind of hear you guys talk about ministry. Like, together we are in the youth, young age ministry, but then you guys go, but I do this and I do this, and like this is how it works. Sure. That's a lot of ministry stuff, but is there anything outside of that? Like, you guys are both driven, and that's a very great quality to have inside of a relationship, because being codependent and like you don't want the one other person to be like, oh, what are you doing today? Can I come join? And it's like, oh, let's don't think like you're a tool of all trades. Like, you have your hand in so many different pots, and then you're excelling at a rapid rate in your own career and your own endeavors. Do you guys have any thoughts or anything you guys want to be like?
I'll let you, because I'm like her stuff is a lot more exciting than me. So she'll hit. So I'll hit mine quick. But my golf coach in high school started his own real estate firm. He's been in it for over 30 years. So when I was 18 years old, actually, he came to me to work with him. I'm like, man, there's no guarantees, blah, blah, blah. Well, stupid. If someone's very successful comes up to you and they are ethical people, their life, and they come up to you with an opportunity, take it. Just try it. That goes with the fear thing. I didn't have the same perspective that I did now. But anyway, we're here now. So I got my real estate license, took about 2 months, took the test, got my license. And then the first year, was like really like a grind. You don't have connections. Like, I have connections. I have a guy for everything. But when people trust you with their most expensive, valuable investments of their life, you need to know what you're talking about. So I finally got to a place where I'm starting to work with different businesses on the commercial. Residential is fun, a lot more work than the commercial, but I'm not going to turn away selling someone's house, especially in this market. But anyway, so real estate has been going good, a lot of networking. Coaching is by far my passion. I love it. I played pretty much my whole life, different sports. And so that's pretty much it. And now I'm doing something with, some buildings of a friend of mine's company. But I had a contractor talk to me. I'm actually selling his house right now. And he's just like, have your hand in everything until you find something that hits. And then once it hits, just, grab it with both hands. But when you're in this time of like, you're getting started, don't be afraid to do different things. But now, Emma's story is really cool. Mm-hmm. Go back to when we first moved to Tennessee to where you are now. This is a good story.
All right.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So I started my recruiting career. That's what I do. So I help find people jobs in Dayton. Mm-hmm. And that was travel nurse recruiting. Super fun, very stressful. And it's all performance driven. So I have metrics that I have to hit, KPIs, key performance enhancers, and all that good stuff. So there's a lot of responsibility and production to be done. So started out there, worked there for like a year. We moved to Tennessee, started working within professional services. Well, that was just not the place for me. So where I'm at right now, I'm at the best company that I could ever work for. And so I'm a technical recruiter, recruiting like IT. So how I got brought onto the team, though, it was a very interesting process. It's an 8-step interview process.
Wow.
So within this first interview, I remember getting off the interview with Braedon and telling Dakota, wow, I have never been so excited hopping off of an interview before. So there's a lot of amazing things about the company that just immediately gauged my interest. So while I'm going through the process and now I'm out of the training stage, promotion, you know, all that stuff, basically what I do from day to day, I'm interviewing people, I'm talking to them on the phone, submitting them over to positions that we have within IT. And ultimately, it sounds a little bit cheesy, but I'm changing people's lives.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, did you just look at your hand?
No, I have a.
Okay.
No, it's something else.
Okay.
He's
sorry.
like starts bleeding.
I'm never washing this hand again because
Oh my So, sorry.
You're changing
people's
lost it.
lives.
Yeah, changing people's lives, and some of the aspects of this culture that I work in is, I mean, we have a C4G2 core values, so celebration, character really being the first because that's the most important. Celebration, community, competency, growth, and grit. So in all aspects of these, within my graduation assessment, we're hitting each of these and seeing where I'm at. Okay. So then there's also core competencies that have to do with, you know, full life cycle recruiting, sales funnel, and all these good things. So, but a part of the process, there's these books that are required reads. So one of them being 5 Dysfunctions of a Team Player. But also there's the ideal team player. And that's what I want to hit on a lot because everything that we do in our professional careers, it ties back to what we do in ministry. And that's why I love it so much because we're connecting with people, we're changing people's lives, helping lead them to God and a relationship for themselves. And so within all of this, you're looking at like three different things for yourselves. I guess what would they be called? Virtues or
attributes.
Attributes, yeah, that's a good word. So this ideal team player, it goes into hungry, humble, and smart. So humble being very, having humility and not thinking less of yourself, but thinking less about yourself, caring for others, servant leader, and then hungry being the drive. What's driving you to do this? What's your motivation? Where's the discipline? And then smart is EQ and IQ. I think that EQ has become one of my biggest superpowers when I'm working.
And EQ is
just your emotional intelligence.
Okay.
So being able to read the room, I think you do a really good job. Honestly, I think everybody in here just does a great job of identifying when somebody's like acting a little bit off. Mm-hmm. So reading body language, the interest levels, eye contact. It's just so interesting to me, the EQ of things. When I'm talking to a candidate on the phone or interviewing them, and I ask them a specific question, can you pass a background check? Is there anything on a background check that would pop up that we would need to get ahead of? Oh, no, I should be good. There's a red flag there. Hello. What do you mean, should be good? No, but so all three aspects tie into, I think, everything in your life. Within church, when you're serving others, the humble, the humility, the drive to help others, win souls, reach the community, and then the smart EQ, IQ. When you're in service and you're worshiping yourself. And you're just kind of looking around, and then you see somebody standing there, and they're like, something's going on. Yeah. God's working on them right now, and I'm about to be the voice to help them identify that. So within my career, again, it's just an amazing opportunity to be able to tie my work life and home life together and just be one person.
Yeah.
That feeds into all of that.
So this is still on her. I just got to make sure I bridge the gap on a couple things, because I feel like people think, well, you got lucky. Like, you know what I'm saying? You had the perfect opportunities that don't happen to everyone. Well, I just wanted to, combat that with, well, when we first got her job at a company, I almost said their name. Oh, God. Anyway, it was a very toxic work environment. Very what are you doing wrong? It's you, no accountability on management. And they and this is not, let me just say, she got this job because of my broker's wife, who's like, hey, I love this girl. You need to hire her. So that connection, first off, no matter who you meet, you treat everybody the same. If it's the McDonald's worker, if it's the CEO of Forbes or whatever, you have to have that same level of intentional eye contact, care about what people are saying, because you never know how it's going to uplift you, your family, people you know. So that's networking in a nutshell. And that's really what we both do for a living. It's just networking, and we just do it in different vehicles. But with her, when that toxic environment, they let her go on a very weird note. It was not called for. It was not. So long story short, Suzanne, my broker's wife, shout out. Suzanne's one of the greatest people you ever meet. She's 100% Jewish. She has that fire, and she's a great salesperson. Anyway, she said, no, there's something wrong. Because of how Emma acted with Suzanne, that she believed everything she was saying, that there was something wrong with the company, not the employee. So that's how she called the CEO of her company and was like, hey, you need to hire her. The owner of the company is like, hey, you need to hire her. And because of that connection with Suzanne and Suzanne's connections with everyone else, she got this 8-step process. And then now great pay, great benefits. And she set a company record for how many closes in the fastest closes. Yeah.
That's another one.
Yeah.
Dakota, you gotta start stepping up. Dude.
I know. I do.
Tell us about marriage.
But but that didn't just happen. And I think she would agree. You need a partner that's not gonna baby walk you. There's times where maybe I wasn't feeling it that day, and she'd be like, what are you gonna do today? Pushed me a little bit, and then
we've done that for each other a lot of times.
And for her, it's the same things. Wow, this really is terrible. I don't want to do this. I'm like, Emma, you have to push through. This is gonna be the moment that you can look back on, and it's gonna make the good times even better. So you have to have somebody, and we could keep going back to dating. I don't know why, but you have to have somebody that's not going to just tell you what you want to hear and let you do what you want. What is right? What is wrong? What do you need to do? What don't you need to do? That's what's helped us get to where we're at.
Each other.
Yeah, to challenge each other. So there's not we didn't grow up in rich households. You both know our families. We didn't grow up rich. They did their best. I've never had without, but it's not. There's no excuses. So even with her through that situation, and it's made her appreciate where she's at way more because she went through that really junky situation.
Wow. I think you guys have given your all, and you've given a lot of work, and you guys are motivated and passionate. But I also think it's God's blessing. For the way that you guys are talking about your own individual successes outside of church, but then go, oh, the only reason why is because of our ministry and how much correlates and how much it ties in together. God blesses those that have those hearts and that are willing to take those steps forward.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. Dude, no,
Yeah.
go ahead, bro. I'm about to dab you up, man.
Well, it's honestly the favor of God when we're faithful to Him. Not that we're expecting that favor, but it just kind of happens that way. And there's been so many times where we're we would not have made it. Right. We would not have made it if it wasn't for God's faithfulness. And in our relationships with people, and just tying everything together in the relationships that we've been able to nurture and really dive into, just knowing that we have a good thing.
Yeah.
It's like every relationship that we have with people, whether we gain anything out of it or not, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's 100% the favor of God on our lives has just been miraculous. And we owe it all to God.
Yeah. And I think one thing that keeps that fresh, because like any relationship, if you're not consistently, like, it's the same relationship with God, it's like a gas tank. You fill up your gas tank, but that's not the only time you fill it up. You have to constantly be investing into it to keep that bus running, to keep that car running. But for us, like, I do this all the time, and it might seem corny, but like when I drive into our house, we're renting, but we got a really good deal. And like we have room for the baby, we have room for parents that come in. It's a very good situation.
Very nice.
Oh yeah. You've been there. And it's one of those things that's like, I will pull up and I'll tell Emma, I'm so glad we have this house.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful we get to live here. Like, it feels so nice. I'm like, I'm so glad we have 2 bathrooms. Like, just, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're truly not thankful, like even in my car, and the front left axle sometimes will like strip out, like just stuff like that. And I'm just like, thank God that this car is like running, and like I can go anywhere I want.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not stuck at home. Be like, Emma, when are you gonna be back from your? So I just think being unexpressed thankfulness expresses unthankfulness. Mm-hmm. So if you don't express it in a verbal voice, because you think God created the heavens out of the earth because he said, let there be light. We have the same power to create, the blessings, to create thankfulness, but you have to use your voice. So,
in the beginning, there was the Word.
Word, exactly. So I think it's very important, and not to shy away. Last thing I'll say, before I turn it back, I just keep going. But one of the things after practice, actually it was before practice, I had everyone sit in a circle, had them close their eyes, sit Indian style, be comfortable, but no one looking. And I was just like, who in your life has completely changed the outcome of where you're at right now? There's got to be somebody. Even people with no parents, maybe live with their grandparents, maybe live with their aunt and uncle. There's somebody that has taken them under their wing. And so everyone, we took a few minutes. I said a couple other things. And I said, before we start practice, I want you to go somewhere in this facility, give them a call real quick. Everyone has to give a call. And so they all gave a call. Some of them were like, teary-eyed and stuff, because it was something that they weren't comfortable with. But as men, it's okay to like express your thankfulness for, other people, other things. And I think it was something that a coach for our local college told me about. And so I took it from him. But I'm like, if this guy that, doesn't do anything with church can express thankfulness, how much more should we?
Right.
So.
Right there. Wow. Dude. What in the world is happening right now?
Usually we have things to say. I don't have anything to say.
I literally wow, you guys are amazing.
This is definitely for more me and Caeden than for them. Yeah. We're definitely never post.
I didn't
what?
We never
Hey,
post
guys.
it. Never post it. We're just like.
Yeah, we just keep watching.
No. I think that's awesome, and I think everything you're saying is crazy, because you guys are the beginning of your guys' journey in life together, but you guys are talking about so much of your like, wow, they actually have wisdom in the things that are happening, and not just because it came to you, but you guys have experienced a lot and gone through a lot individually and together. Like the stories, and it's just all mind blowing. Like, I'm family, knew you your whole life, and family, and it's like I'm still like, wait, what? That's crazy. That's cool. But yeah, no, we're obviously very impressed and honored, and we have a guitar that we open up with, and one thing that we were wanting to do is just have a little moment, because God is very important in all of our lives, and we think you guys are absolutely very talented, and we'd like to share this moment with anyone that's watching, just like a little moment of singing and praising and doing that little thing in there. He's a little friend. But yeah, so I believe the song is Jesus by Braedon Young.
Yeah, shout out
Correct?
Braedon.
Yeah,
Shout out Braedon.
And you guys helped write this one? Or
No.
Sponsored by Braedon Young Music.
Truly don't really. So I play the bass mainly, so I get really confused with the guitar. So it's gonna be you might hear some percussive just like in between. I'm gonna look at Emma like break down.
All right, perfect.
Already. I actually don't know how this starts.
Okay.
Go ahead, we'll
Okay.
just do it. This is really raw. Really raw. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so if we need to, we'll do a few takes, right?
Yeah, it'll all be in there.
Okay. All of it.
Go for it.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
I am standing here today by your mercy and your grace, with thanksgiving I will say, you're worthy to be praised, you're worthy to be praised. And as your glory fills this place, I will only seek your face. And with thanksgiving I will say, you're worthy of my praise, you're worthy of my praise. How beautiful, how marvelous is your name, Jesus. How powerful, how excellent is your name, Jesus. Oh, you're worthy, Lord. And your name is holy, your name is worthy, your name is Jesus. Your name is holy, your name is worthy, your name is Jesus. How beautiful, how marvelous is your name, Jesus. And how powerful, how excellent is your name, Jesus.
wow. That was beautiful. Oh my goodness.
That was fun.
As you could see, the dynamic
Yeah.
duo and the powerhouse singer and just amazing guitar skills. You know, Braedon and I argue, like, what's the better instrument? And I think that I'm actually not gonna say it. You were really good on guitar, and that pushed the needle towards guitar. And I'm a
Okay.
keyboardist, so
Yeah.
I was going more.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say?
No, that was great. It was really good. Definitely
Yeah.
power of God. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, the bots, Emma and Dakota, for joining us and absolutely sprinkling all their wisdom and giving it their all. Man, you guys are literally the dynamic duo. Amazing. Do you guys have anything that you guys would like to say to end it?
No, just thank you so much for having us. We love you guys.
Hey, we love you too.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Well, that was BC Pro. Like and subscribe. Turn on those notifications. And we'll see you on the next one. Comment something that you learned because we're here to fuel your curiosity. We'll catch you on the next one.